so far. It's Sports Talk with Sam Jordan here on Nooga Radio 92.7 FM, 95.3 FM HD4. And we're glad to have you along wherever you may be here in the Tennessee Valley or around the world with Sports Talk with Sam Jordan. And we've got a lot of balls that we're going to be talking about tonight. And I said balls, not balls, but we will be talking about the balls. We are going to be talking about football. We're going to be talking about basketball. We're going to be talking about soccer as well. So a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. And if you've got questions or comments, you want to chime in and give your opinion or comments about it, you can do so by calling 423-800-8949. 423-800-8949 is the phone number to call. And momentarily, hopefully, we will have Facebook going here, as it is being a troublesome pest, worse than Russell Stroud at times. No, I'm just kidding. Russell's a great guy. But we'll leave it at that, to keep that public perception of him as surreal as possible. But anyway, Tennessee Vols, they have added additional players that are looking at making Knoxville home for the next 4 years, or at least as close to those 4 years as possible. And with that, they've got 12 or 13 players that are saying, hey, we want to play for the new coaching staff at Knoxville. We believe that they're going to bring success to the Tennessee Vols, as what Coach Pruitt has been able to do as the defensive coordinator at Alabama. So, a lot of good things are coming out of this. We keep mentioning, and, I'd be remiss if we did not add, hopefully that Coach Jones will be able to find something out there that will put him back into the coaching ranks somewhere, whether it's an assistant or another head coaching job somewhere, because, he really deserves it. He kind of got a raw deal, in my opinion, but, it's, the what have you done for me lately kind of an attitude that takes place in big jobs. And especially when you're in a hot seat like you are in Knoxville with the Tennessee Vols. So let me switch over here to that, because I got so much stuff here that we're going to talk about. Oh, here we go. Number 2, junior college defensive end, Jordan Allen becomes the 12th Tennessee early signee out of Taylor, Coffee County. And he will be signing tomorrow with the Vols. He announced he had committed to the Vols, then signed a national letter of intent as a 4-star prospect out of the City College of San Francisco. And he is a 6'5", 230-pound redshirt sophomore who is ranked number 2 nationally among junior college defensive ends. He chose the Vols over Michigan State, Colorado, Arizona State, and TCU. So, he had some looks that were from prestigious programs, but Tennessee evidently, other than Michigan State, of course, was giving him some serious looks there. He redshirted at UC Davis before transferring to City College, where he had 27 tackles, 8 for losses, 4.5 sacks, and 2 pass breakups in 2017. Alontae Taylor, an in-state wide receiver, a 4-star prospect who decommitted from the Vols after Coach Jones was fired, now says he will sign with Tennessee on Friday at 1 o'clock in the Coffee County Central High School gym. Taylor originally committed to UT in June of 2016, and now will still be a part of that process and being a Tennessee Vol. So features the UT early signing class features 7 members from the state of Tennessee, 3 from California, 1 player from Florida, and 1 from South Carolina. Now, if Tennessee can break that hold that Georgia has got on its in-state recruits, then maybe we can be able to see some better talent, come aboard up in Knoxville. And not saying that the talent that is coming into Knoxville isn't good already. Georgia's got quite a bit of talent, and it would be nice to be able to tap into that. Maybe Coach Pruitt can do that with some players from Alabama, from the state of Alabama. They're not that far away. So it will be interesting to see whether or not in the future, because Coach Pruitt really didn't have a whole lot of time to work on getting this signing class. I mean, he was going off of the previous staff that had already planted the seeds, I guess, and were able to maintain some of those. Now, Tennessee had up in the upper 20s where they were had commitments, but until the early signing day, nobody was really solidified in making Knoxville their home. But yesterday, you've got 12 players that have already made that commitment and that have signed and or will be signing here tomorrow. And there's still plenty more that they can also come across here for the 2018 season, because the National Collegiate Signing Day is coming up in February. So they still got some time to work on that. And in that off season, per se, with the college football. All right. We told you we were going to talk a little bit of football. Tennessee really taking care of business and trying to make it a worthwhile thing. And as we said, UTC also did very well yesterday as well in their signings that they had. They had around a dozen players that also made the cut that want to be a mock, and several local players included, but also from surrounding states as well. So congratulations to UTC in their endeavors in trying to get the Moccasin program back up into the notoriety that it has been known for many years. I mean, even I, who lived in the Northeast, knew about Mocs football and how successful Mocs football has been, winning many Southern Conference championships. So, and that may be the sports nerd in me, but I tell you what, Chattanooga Mocs football is going to be like a phoenix and rising back up from the ashes, and we'll be back at the top of the landscape of the Southern Conference. And it won't be that very long either before you'll be hearing about that. All right, let's talk a little bit about high school sports. Red Bank rode past Chattanooga School of Arts and Sciences. Here with a 54-12 romping over the Lady Patriots. That's the Lionettes of Red Bank. The Lady Lionettes improved to 10-1 overall with that thumping. And, with the holidays and stuff here, they are getting ready for some tournaments and the such. But leading the way for Red Bank was none other than Roberts with 11 points in that contest. Pratt had 10. Kennebrew had 11 points. And several others with other single-digit points and stuff. But Roberts and Claiborne were able to hit a couple threes for the Lionettes, where the CSAS Lady Patriots with Harris getting some love there, with her only points of the game coming from the three-point arc. But so the season kind of taking a little bit of a break here with the holidays and stuff. And hopefully we'll be able to bring you coming up after the first of the year, high school basketball with the boys. We're going to start it out with boys, and then we'll eventually work in girls games later on. But we've got a 20-game schedule that between myself and Keon Rose will be bringing you here over Nooga Radio 92.7 FM and 95.3 FM HD4. So we hope that if you're a business out there and you want to participate as a sponsor, we'll make sure that you give us a call here at the station. We'll be more than glad to have Keon or myself or Dean or David speak with you about that. And it will be a fun time. High school basketball or any high school sports is going to be very fun to talk about. And if I can get the attention of Mr. Rose, who's standing by in the yellow room, most places have a green room. If he could bring the schedule of the basketball schedule with, we'll talk about some of these. I know that you weren't planning to talk much tonight, but we've got a 20-game schedule here that we're looking at. And one of the things that we wanted to do, we wanted to try to cover as many teams as possible. But we're starting off with the homeschoolers here in the Chattanooga area with College Dale Academy. And, we're going to be featuring quite a few teams here in the region.
Absolutely. Yeah, you caught me cold a little bit. I
know you were napping.
I was watching a video on YouTube, and
okay.
Yeah, then I looked up and you were calling me. I was like, okay, here we go. Coming off the bench, coach. So, yeah, we're starting off with one of the first games on our schedule, Howard Tech and Chattanooga Christian.
Right.
Which both of those schools have a pretty good record so far, pretty decent record. And I thought, well, that's a pretty solid matchup for us to start off the new year with.
Mm-hmm.
The matchups that I'm looking most forward to on the schedule,
right?
A lot of it involves Tyner and Brainerd. Those matchups there, because I've gotten the opportunity to watch Tyner play a couple of times.
Well, the one thing that I've noticed about Tyner, and I have not seen one of their basketball games yet, but I know there's quite a few players that were on the football team that made it to the state championship game that are also on the basketball team. And it's like there's some athleticism, for that Tyner team. And they've actually shown that here with the record that they've gotten here so far. And Tyner, I think, is going to be one of those gems that are really going to stick out as being one of the top teams in the area. And then possibly with Red Bank. And you mentioned Brainerd. Brainerd's not a team to not toss away. And then East Hamilton, the Hawks, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. They're another team that are kind of tearing it up right now as well.
Yeah, when I was looking through the stats the other day, I was surprised by East Hamilton.
Yeah.
In large part because I personally have not heard that much about them, and I am not sure why.
They've been playing a lot of non-conference opponents for this first part of the season, and they've been going to Memphis, they've been going to Nashville, Knoxville. I mean, they're going around the state, and they're really fine-tuning here.
They've done a good job. Whatever it is that they're doing, they should keep doing that because they look
working.
Yeah, they look impressive, and so we're going to be trying to get all of those games on the schedule this year and do some play-by-play, and I'm excited.
Yeah. So I've told Keon this a number of times before I even started doing my show. If you want to progress your career, and Keon, I've worked with a lot of national sports talk show hosts in my 37 plus years, and it's like I can see Keon being one of those sports talk show hosts, but usually you got to get a little play-by-play experience. And so I don't want to call it mentoring because I'm not your boss, but I can see you in me when I was your age or even younger. And it's like, trying to help grow Mr. Keon Rose here a little bit. And, I can't wait because I often said, sometimes with your shows, you get into preaching, like you're just Bible thumping, like everything. And, even though I'm an ordained minister, I don't normally get that excited per se or thumping, but I can only imagine what, if there's a fast break and a play's happening, how excited you're going to be, and you're going to bring and exude that excitement to the listener, because what we do in radio, we paint the picture, for them, since we're not televising it or anything. But, I can just see a lot of great things coming with you once you're starting to do your own thing with play-by-play. So it's kind of a teaching or sharing experience, but I know that you're going to do well. I can just see it.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I will take the mentoring because
okay.
And just, you know more than me. You have more experience.
I've got 25 years on you.
Right. Exactly. I'll take it
in age, but you know what? I started out at 14 and I'm still learning things. I never thought I would be calling volleyball, which that is probably one of the toughest sports to call. Soccer, I think, would be another one. And I have called some soccer, but volleyball, the ball is just bouncing, here, there. And, you can't really see the numbers altogether quickly, especially with where usually a radio station's positioned at up in the catbird's nest or, maybe in a corner of the gym somewhere. And it's like you're not always seeing. And if you don't know who those student athletes are, it makes it difficult. But with basketball, you pretty well names and numbers. That's what you got to remember. And, add a little pizzazz to it and everything. And like I said, I think you've got a lot of pizzazz that you're going to be possessing and giving out there.
I'm going to be trying for it. I have a little bit of basketball play-by-play experience, so hopefully the speed of this is not going to catch me entirely off guard.
Right. And then we've got another big announcement that we'll be making hopefully here after the first of the year with our shows being on location in downtown Chattanooga. We don't have that all firmed up yet, but very likely that we're going to be taking the show on the road. And a lot of different things that we're trying to bring here so that way we can involve you, the listener out there, with Sports Talk with Sam Jordan and The Clutch with Keon Rose and with high school sports and with the local college scene as well. So, I'm glad to be a part of the sports team here with Keon. He's a sports director. That's fine. He's my boss when we're doing sports. You didn't know you had that, did you?
I did not know that. No.
No. Okay. I was told you were the sports director. So I have to work for him, boss. When do I get my paycheck?
When I get my paycheck.
Oh, okay. All right. But anyway, there's quite a few games. I know that we have Red Bank on the schedule like 9 times. We've got Hickson on several times. Signal Mountain, I think, is on 4 times. Tyner, Howard Tech, Chattanooga Christian, I think, is on there. And Baylor and McCauley, I think, are on there as well. So we're trying to give you a wide variety of how well the high school basketball scene is here in the Tennessee Valley. So
I think a lot of places, the high school ball that I've heard on various stations, they tend to just pick one team and do them,
right,
which is fine. I just think that you end up not getting to know the area basketball players as well as you possibly could. And so that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make sure that everybody is able to know who these kids are, know who these guys are, especially if you have been watching football. Then they come over to the basketball court, a lot of them. You mentioned Tyner, but they're not the only school. No. And they dominate out there too. And one of the things that people are concerned about is that we don't have a lot of dual sport athletes, or at least not as many as we used to, because it tends to be more advantageous to just pick one sport and do that. And so when you have the dual sport, boys and girls, make sure you go out and appreciate it.
Right. So I didn't mean to disturb you in your moment of
no, it's fine.
Capturing sports videos or whatever it may be, maybe music videos. I don't know.
I'm a little bit of both. I'm a big music guy too.
All right. So we will catch you next Tuesday?
Next Tuesday, yes.
Next Tuesday, day after Christmas. Are you expecting a lot for Christmas? I know you already got one present sitting out in the office area with your brother.
Yeah, my brother came back from college, so he's spending the holidays with me. No, I'm not really expecting a ton, just a day full of basketball. Presumably.
Yeah, and there will be a lot of that. That's for sure. That's one thing you can always count on Christmas Day is the NBA.
Wizards Celtics, man. That's my game right there. So
Celtics.
You're
going Washington anyway. I knew that.
Yeah, I hate Boston so much. I can't.
But are they having 2 or 3 games that day?
They're having 3 games, I believe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So used to years ago, before ABC and ESPN started doing that Christmas Day tradition, which I think is about 10 years now they've been doing it. But beforehand, the NFL would basically control what would happen on Christmas Day. And then finally the Players Association says, well, we want to have a day off, and be able to spend it with our family and stuff. So NBA says, all right, we'll take it.
Yeah. And that's fair to the football players. They already play on Thanksgiving, a lot of them. So
yeah,
give them Christmas.
3 or 4 games that day. And then, well, I think there's a couple games on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, yes, there is.
What, do you have any predictions
About
this coming weekend? Maybe we can talk about that briefly in the next break.
Absolutely.
We'll do that when we come back on Sports Talk with Sam Jordan with a little bit of the clutch as well here on Nooga Radio.
The Tennessee Valley's news talk leader, Nooga Radio, digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM. 3, 2, 1. Chattanooga Radio, digital FM 95.3 HD4, 92.7 FM's news now.
Chattanooga fire investigators say they believe the fire that broke out of the Glenwood community on Ocoee Street was an arson. Flames were observed shooting as high as 20 feet in the air, while firefighters battled the blaze. An empty husk of the building left with charred remains. A $5,000 reward is offered for anyone who can bring information that leads to an arrest. Chattanooga police say the 23-year-old DeJuan Slate was shot many times in the 4100 block of Highland Avenue. He was rushed to the hospital by Hamilton County EMS, which describes him as in serious but stable condition. The Violent Crimes Bureau investigating, trying to find the would-be killer. Another shooting at nearly the same time and the same day. A patrol car was on North Holly Street when a passerby alerted the policeman that a man had been shot. The policeman provided medical assistance before Hamilton County EMS rushed him to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Russell Stroud, Nooga Radio News Talk 92.7. Now.
The Tennessee Valley's news talk leader, Nooga Radio, digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM.
Sam Jordan, News Talk 92.7 Sports Now. The Minnesota Twins have announced that Tommy Watkins will be the new manager of the Chattanooga Lookouts for the upcoming 2018 season. Watkins will be joined by returning hitting coach Javier Valentin and returning pitching coach Ivan Arteaga. Rounding out the staff is trainer Alan Rail, who will be entering his first year with the team after being the trainer for the Fort Myers Miracle for 4 seasons, and last year's strength and conditioning coach Ryan Gross. University of Tennessee Chattanooga's Nationals early signing day turned out very productive for the Mocs. Michael Austin out of Apopka, Florida, Isaiah Cobb, Dylan Cole, Josiah Futrell, Cole Henke, TJ Horton, Chris James, Simon Miskelly, Harrison Moon, Niven Nelson, Logan Pitts, Tyrell Price, and Lamerick Tucker, all becoming new Mocs beginning next season. Major League Soccer is coming to Nashville. It'll be owned by Investment Group Nashville Soccer Holdings LLC, headed by John Ingram. Sam Jordan, News Talk 92.7 Sports Now.
Expect mostly cloudy but dry weather out there through your nighttime. Some more late fall developing, lows 48 to 50. For Friday, continued mild, high 60 to 62. Could see an afternoon shower with areas of rain likely late Friday night through Saturday, turning cooler for Sunday. You've been taking care of business all year, so let Office Depot Office Max take care of you. Treat yourself to great deals on tech and furniture. That's Office Depot Office Max, taking care of business. And I'm Storm Team 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Orr.
The Tennessee Valley's news talk leader, Nooga Radio, digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM.
An automated nuclear missile defense system has suddenly entered into launch mode, and you are the only one who can stop it. Escape Experience Chattanooga. Your team has just been infected with a deadly virus. Your only hope? There, in an abandoned farmhouse. Escape Experience Chattanooga. Handcuffed in a maximum security prison, you have an hour to flee. Escape Experience Chattanooga. These escape scenarios and more at Chattanooga's best escape room game and team building platform. Call now. Slots are limited. Register online at escapeexperience.com/Chattanooga. Escape Experience Chattanooga.
Cash, cash, and more cash. Hey, where do you think Santa shops? Rick Davis Golden Diamonds. He made a special stop to tell Rick, slash those prices. Ooh, ho, ho. That's right now for Christmas at Rick Davis Golden Diamonds. Even Rick's not going to say no to Santa. No. Don't wait till after Christmas. It'll be way too late. Get your cash right now for your gold, your silver, your diamonds, and jewelry. Has Rick gone mad?
Well, maybe a little.
No, we think he's just Christmassy. Rick Davis Golden Diamonds, Brainerd Road, Chattanooga. You know where it is. Hey, is that Santa? Ooh, ho, ho. Even Rick's not going to say no to Santa. No. Get your cash right now.
Goss Insurance.
Yes, we are local. And no, we don't have an 800 number. In fact, our mobile numbers are on our business cards. We live, work, play, and worship in Chattanooga, and we would love to help with your insurance. Business, auto, home, life insurance. Call now, save money. Call Goss Insurance for all your insurance needs. Goss Insurance, 875-2500. 875-2500.
Broadcasting live to over 1 million souls in Chattanooga, the Tennessee Valley, and beyond on frequency modulation 92.7. Sean Hannity, 25,000 watts on digital FM 95.3 HD4. CBS Radio News, NASCAR, Bloomberg Markets, David Tulis, streaming strong at NoogaRadio.com. Live on YouTube and Facebook. Nooga Radio, News Talk 92.7. Chattanooga Radio.
Sports Talk with Sam Jordan with my very good friend Keon Rose, the host of The Clutch. Normally he is on right after me tonight, but we've got, both of us got an engagement to go to. Sometimes we have to go off-site, station-related stuff, but it's good to have Keon in here to talk sports and not always feel like I'm talking to myself, and I'm sure you feel that way sometimes too, even though you've told me bluntly, do not come in. I'm just kidding. He's never said that, but he's probably thought it, I'm sure.
Look, that's the thing about sports radio that they never tell you, that if you do a show by yourself, you are talking to yourself for the entire show. You ask yourself the questions and then you answer them.
Right.
Yeah.
So we got Facebook Live going finally. We had to reposition the camera and everything, but we're still on YouTube and everything. But just before the break and everything, we were going to get into talking about the games going on this weekend with the NFL. Now there's a lot of bowl games going on. We're not really going to worry about that. Tennessee's not in it. Georgia's playing later on January 1st. So is that team called Alabama, but that's another day and another story. but the NFL, I mean, playoffs, Tennessee's right now in that 5th slot in the AFC, the number 1 slot of the wild card. I think they're at home this weekend, if I'm not mistaken.
Tennessee is at home.
Yeah.
And they host the Rams.
Ooh, okay. They really need to win this game.
They do. I'm not sure how.
The Rams are going to make it, I think, deep into the NFC playoffs, if not maybe even to the Super Bowl.
Oh, I 100% agree.
That's just how good the Rams are this year, since Jeff Fisher is not in charge.
Immediate improvement.
Oh, immediate?
Almost instant improvement the moment they didn't have him anymore.
An extraordinary improvement. We'll go with that. But, the Rams, they're going to give the Titans fits. But, the Titans, they lost a close one to San Francisco, even though it was more of the kicking game, and my good friend Robbie Gould that got 5 field goals in that contest against the Titans and winning it there at the end. But the Titans really need to step their game up. I mean, really step it up if they're going to even stay close with the Rams.
I don't think that they are capable of doing that, and I've already, if you listen to my show, you know that I've said this many times. I blame Mike Mularkey, the head coach, entirely. I don't think that he is coaching this team in such a way that they score points, really.
Right.
And that's a problem, because when they have to get aggressive near the end of games, you see that they're actually capable of doing it.
Right.
But they play
they're just
conservative.
lazy
through
the rest of the game.
It's a 75% of the game. It's just conservative play calling. Let's run the ball. Let's run the ball. Let's run the ball. And you can't do that in the modern NFL. You can't do it. You can't do it against the Rams.
I've always said this about Mike Mularkey. He's a very nice guy. He was a coordinator for years in Pittsburgh. He even played for the Steelers back in the 80s, maybe a little bit of 90s. That's all Mike Mularkey really is good at, is just being a coordinator. I don't think he is the head coaching caliber that you would expect for most NFL teams.
And that's not an insult, by the way.
No,
that's perfectly fine. There's some guys that you see them, maybe they should never have been head coaches. And you see Josh McDaniels with the Patriots. He's a great offensive coordinator. Maybe he shouldn't have been a head coach.
He's being hinted with a couple jobs out there, which I can understand.
Yeah, he's young enough to give that one a second shot. But at the time that they hired him in Denver to be the head coach, maybe he shouldn't have been. But
Yeah.
it happens, and you'll get multiple cracks at it in your career. And if you're successful, you're successful, and if you're not, you're not. But not everybody gets to be a head coach. Not everyone's good at it.
You could be like Nick Saban, really stink in the NFL and really shine in college.
You got to find your place, man.
Right.
And
That's what we keep saying here.
Yeah. And so, Mike Mularkey, I don't know that head coach is his place. And I especially think that if you have a dynamic playmaking quarterback with the potential that Mariota has, I think that you should be offensively aggressive. He can throw the ball. He's very accurate. He's also mobile. You drafted a wide receiver with your first pick in the draft, Corey Davis, I believe, out of Western Michigan. Go ahead and give your offensive players a chance to make plays.
And you got Delaney Walker, who I don't think gets utilized or promoted as much as he should. I mean, he really brings a lot of credibility to the Titans, but they're not getting the ball to him enough, I don't think.
And it's varied, right? Like there are games where they don't get the ball to him at all. And then there are games where he's the only guy that gets the ball. And both of those things are problematic because that means you're not a well-rounded football team.
Right.
So, yeah.
And they've got a good running game with Murray.
With DeMarco Murray and Derrick Henry from Alabama. That's
that's true.
It's a good tandem situation. I mean, there's no reason offensively why this team looks. They're near the bottom of the league in about every offensive stat, and there's no good reason why that should be true.
Right.
And so now they're playing the Rams, who are near the top of the league in every offensive stat.
They've lost 2 or 3 games?
They've lost the record should be here. They lost 3, I believe.
Okay. So that puts 10-4, we heard.
Yeah, 10-4, yeah.
Yeah. So, the Rams, I mean, Tennessee should take note here. Don't bring Jeff Fisher ever back to Nashville because he really didn't do anything for Nashville or for the Titans. But how bad of a score do you think this is going to be?
Well, based on what I saw the Rams do to the Seahawks last week, I'm thinking
it ain't going to be pretty.
Yeah, I'm thinking this one's lopsided early, to the point where maybe McVay doesn't run up the score. Maybe we've got a 28.
Really, you really believe that? I don't.
McVay doesn't strike me as that kind of guy. Not that I've seen him do it. He didn't run up the score last week either, though. Like the defense also was scoring points for LA. So I don't think necessarily that's necessarily the case, but I'm gonna go with probably like somewhere in the ballpark of 33-7, 33-10.
Okay. I was thinking 42-10.
That's also possible.
Yeah. So Gurley, I mean, his game is spot on. I mean, if he does not win some sort of high award, for his season that he's had, I'd be shocked. I mean, he's been one of the outstanding backs in the entire NFL this year. I mean, you don't hear much about him.
He's a quiet guy.
Yeah, he's quiet, but you don't really hear a lot about him here in the Southeast or even in the eastern half of the U.S. I mean, that his name is there.
And it's crazy because he's a Georgia guy.
Right. It's like his PR firm needs to hire Keon because he'd be promoting him all over the place, I think, because Georgia fan here. But, all right, what are Atlanta had already played, I believe, Thursday night?
No, Atlanta's playing Sunday.
All right.
Against New Orleans.
Well, that's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, the Vegas has New Orleans as a 6-point favorite, actually. It's hard to tell, but Atlanta hasn't been playing great football, but they have been winning.
Yeah.
And actually,
it's not been the prettiest, but they're getting it done.
They're getting it done. And here's the thing. Here's an interesting stat, right? So the Falcons play the Saints this week, and next week they end the season with the Panthers. They win both of those games. They win the division.
Yeah.
As bad as it looks like they have played, they can still win the division outright, which is amazing to think about. But yeah.
Yeah, kind of going back after that thought there. Tennessee could still win the division over Jacksonville because they beat them head-to-head.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's just weird, even though Jacksonville is the number 3 seed in the playoffs right now, as it stands right now. And that just doesn't seem right.
That feels so wrong.
Yeah.
Just a year ago, they were the laughingstock of the entire league.
Right.
It was them and the Browns, and the
Browns are consistent.
Yeah, no, the Browns are consistent. You can't say that about the Browns, but Jacksonville's come out of nowhere.
Right.
Blake Bortles looks like a decent quarterback. He's the best rated quarterback in the month of December.
Wow.
In terms of accuracy and quarterback rating. And
I've never really been impressed with Bortles, but like you said, I mean, this year it's like the light switch got flipped up, and it's like he's really doing well. He's not Brady-esque.
No.
But
he's
climbing.
He's got zero pressure.
Right.
And that's the thing. He's got one of the best defenses in the league. Leonard Fournette is his running back. They just turn around and give him the ball about 100 times a game.
Right.
So when they ask Blake Bortles to throw, yeah, he can make that throw.
You think Belichick, regrets letting Fournette go?
I have to think so, in my opinion, just because of how the Patriots always have struggled with running the ball.
Yeah.
That they never have a back that is the great running back. And they've been able to hide that because they've got Brady. But, I mean, the running back this year is Deion Lewis, who's been okay. But, like, would you rather have Deion Lewis or Leonard Fournette?
I'd take Fournette
Yeah.
in a heartbeat.
And there's so many guys to draft in this draft at running back that I just find it amazing that somehow the Patriots didn't come away with one.
Yeah. What I find amazing is the Browns and I think there's 3 other teams have at least 4 to 6 picks in the upcoming draft in the first round.
Which at least I think that the GM of the Browns did them a favor in that regard, which is that he got them a ton of picks.
Yeah, and now he's no longer with a job.
Right.
Brown. But.
So look, which stinks, but if you get the next GM in there is smart and uses those picks wisely, I mean, you can turn that thing around. It's not impossible. Here's the question, though. Do the Browns win their first game of the year against the Bears? It's the best shot they've got.
It's probably the only shot unless they were playing the 49ers. But you know what? I would even pick the Browns in that instance. I really would. I mean, the Browns, they're developing their talent. They're doing it from the ground up and everything. But I think they will get rid of that goose egg. Finally,
I think so too. I hope so. But I've been rooting for them every week, and they've been close a couple of times. But they've just let that Packers game go. They had a lead coming down at the end of that game, and Brett Hundley of all people came back and snatched it from them. But the Bears are 4-10. Mitch Trubisky, the rookie as well.
Yeah,
there's a chance there. There's light at the end of that particular tunnel.
Now, while we're talking Ohio, you kind of feel bad for Marvin Lewis there at Cincinnati. He's just kind of riding things out.
15 years,
right? And it's like, I think he's being treated dirty. If you're not going to renew the guy, I mean, tell him, but let him have the opportunity. Maybe Marvin says, all right, let me finish it out. Maybe I can get something going and maybe it'll help me with my next job. But it's just like everybody's got him canned and the season's not over with. Cincinnati, I think, are out of any possibility in the playoffs.
Cincinnati's 5-9. They can't make it.
But, and they really got hit by the injuries, and then you got players that are doing cheap hits and stuff, or even in the case of Burfict, he got a cheap shot on him, but he's always had the notoriety of playing dirty at times too.
Yeah, so it's hard to feel bad for him in that sense when someone put together an entire 15-minute video on YouTube of all the dirty hits that Vontaze Burfict has done to people over his career. Yeah, it's hard to feel bad for that particular guy.
Right. And the Steelers probably had something to do with that, and helping that video be shown.
Yeah, just get to the top of the
Cincinnati and Pittsburgh
the list there.
Always hates each other. I mean, Cleveland and Pittsburgh, they're closer than what Cincinnati is to Pittsburgh. But there's not as much animosity between Cleveland and Pittsburgh like there is Pittsburgh and Cincinnati.
When someone stands in your way of the postseason all the time, you tend to not like that person. So the Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Cincinnati dynamic has always been interesting to me.
Well, Baltimore, there's another AFC Central Division team there. You don't know what team's going to show up with the Ravens.
You don't, but actually they have been because my brother's a Ravens fan here. He was telling me before that they're the highest scoring team since week 8 of the season so far. I have no idea how it is that happened or when.
Okay,
but they've been scoring a lot lately.
They played the 49ers each of those weeks, maybe.
They had a week with the Dolphins. They had
well, there you go.
That high scoring game with the Steelers. They lost, but they scored a lot of points. So yeah, there are a few.
And the Dolphins, I mean, they beat the Patriots and then they lose, not necessarily miserably last week, but it's like there's a big dynamic change there.
Tom Brady has that one bad game against the Dolphins every year, and no one knows why. It usually comes earlier in the year than this, but he gets one a year where he's just terrible. And that's the one. That's the one.
All right, so some of the other games we'll go by game here, and we'll go through the picks.
Okay, well, the NFL is doing that thing where we're playing some games on Saturday.
Now, there's none tonight.
None tonight. No,
they're doing the 2 on Saturday.
Yes.
Okay.
So Indianapolis and Baltimore is the first Saturday game on NFL Network.
Baltimore.
Yeah, I'm going to have to take Baltimore. Indy's terrible. I like Jacoby Brissett, but he's so raw and young and not able to read defenses yet.
Pagano gone or staying?
Gone.
Yeah.
Gone. I would have to think gone. Like the way the whole Andrew Luck situation
He's another
got
one like
mismanaged.
Malarkey. He's a good coordinator, and he was part of Dungy's staff when, Dungy decided to retire and go to the broadcast booth. But Pagano, definitely a coordinator, not a head coach.
I agree with that entirely. The night game for Saturday is Minnesota and Green Bay.
Ooh.
8:30. The Packers have shut down Aaron Rodgers for the year.
Yeah,
now that they can't make
and that's
the playoffs.
smart. It really is.
They put him back on IR. Don't even risk it. But the Vikings they're
hot.
They're hot. They're winning that division. They're 11-3. And this is just a game that the Packers are playing to see if they can cool the Vikings off at all, just to do it. Divisional rivalry stuff, basically.
Right. And that's been a love-hate relationship since the 60s. So, and where's it being played at? Green Bay?
Green Bay.
Oh, yeah, that will be a torturous game for the Packer fans.
Yep. And the Vikings are 9-point favorites in that game. I'm
surprised it'll be more than that.
Yeah, I think Vegas plays it conservative because most NFL games do wind up being fairly close. The first of the Sunday games is Denver and Washington, which I don't even know if I want to watch the game. It's going to make me sick.
I know you're going to be surprised when I say this. I'm going to pick Washington.
Really?
Yes, by 2 touchdowns at least.
I think so too. I think Washington's much better than Denver. They're also at home.
That helps. So, that's a gorgeous stadium, FedEx Field.
Everywhere but the turf. Everywhere but the turf. Okay. The Redskins start to see brown on their field about halfway through the year in a way that I have not seen in other NFL stadiums.
Right.
But the rest of FedEx Field, I am told, is great, and I have to go out and make the pilgrimage to go see them.
I have been in one of the luxury boxes. I got the pleasure of doing that back in 2010 when I was working with ESPN Radio, and I was doing the Babe Ruth World Series. And we got to go and sit in on the Ravens and Redskins preseason game. Oh, I'm telling you what, they treat you good there. You had any kind of food you wanted. You had any kind of beverage you wanted in the luxury box. Didn't have to pay a dime, not even for the ticket.
Oh, man.
And the tickets, even for preseason games, are not cheap. I mean, they're not as expensive as the regular season, which on average is around $80 or more. But even preseason was $40, I think. And that's like, I had a great view. Other than being on the field, I had a great view from the box.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. All right. Who else do we have?
So
are you going with Denver? Or?
I'm going with Washington.
I figured that.
Yeah, I'm going with Washington. So we just talked about Marvin Lewis. The Lions are going to visit the Bengals. The Lions are fighting for their playoff lives right now. They're 8-6. The Bengals are really just playing spoiler at this point.
You know what? I would even go with the spoiler in the Bengals.
Will you now?
Yes, I would. By a field goal.
By a field goal. Yeah. I'm going to go with the Lions. I know that you have that up and down relationship with Matthew Stafford, but I just think that they're better. I just think they're better.
They should be better.
They should be better. And really, they should be better than the 8-6 record that they have. But, never you mind all that. So the LA Chargers and the New York Jets.
Are you kidding me?
Game. Yeah.
There ain't no doubt Chargers are going to win.
I think I'm taking the Chargers as well. I think Keenan Allen's playing really great football.
Yeah.
Really great football.
Ever since they moved to LA. They were even decent in San Diego. I still don't get why. I mean, other than a stadium deal, all these NFL owners I despise because they're always wanting to try to get more money into their coffers.
Yeah.
And they've got a good winning formula. San Diego, I think, will get an NFL team. I think it'll be another Cleveland situation where they will want to be back in San Diego because I think it's market 25 or 26.
Yeah.
And it's like, you've got 32 teams. Why not a team in every market in the top 32?
Because the owner is cheap. That's why.
Yeah,
and that's pretty much the only reason why.
Dean Spanos.
Yeah.
But Buffalo, Chargers should win.
Buffalo and New England. Buffalo visiting New England. 11.5-point favorites are the Patriots.
Oh, I'm sure.
The
Bills haven't been playing that bad either lately.
They haven't.
They may have a slight chance for a wild card slot, maybe. No, they are number 6. They're right behind Tennessee. So that would be the second wild card spot because there was some finagling going on in the teams that had a chance but weren't. But it's Tennessee and Buffalo 5 and 6 in the wild card slot. So
Buffalo's 8-6.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
and Tyrod is supposed to start.
but they act like they are, they have to believe everything CNN says or media, and that's very sad.
Thank you, Gene.
Okay, so the Ravens would be sixth if they beat the Colts this week.
Right.
But currently the Bills are
Bills
sixth.
have 6, yeah. But I mean that's at New England. At
that is at Foxborough. Okay. Yeah, that's going to be a tough one.
That could be a long 6 or 7 hour trip back across to Buffalo.
Buffalo, New York.
Yeah, but you know what? I would root for Buffalo, even though I know the Patriots will probably win that game. It's sad to say, but anybody that plays the Patriots, I would root for. Anybody. It's just like Atlanta Braves years ago when they were really all the time. That's all you heard was Atlanta Braves. So,
right.
That's my little diatribe there, tirade.
We're going to move on here to the Dolphins and the Chiefs. The Dolphins still technically alive at 6 and 8. The Chiefs at 8 and 6 really need to hold it together. And Chiefs are 10.5-point favorites.
Chiefs are. I can see that, but Andy Reid has really had an upsy, downsy type of a season. I don't know. It's not quite like playing the Patriots, but I think I would probably go with Miami for an upset because you just don't know what Chiefs team is going to show up. Alex Smith, he's really good. He's got some playmakers that he goes to, but I just see Miami pulling an upset.
Okay,
who else?
Last one, your Cowboys hosting the Seahawks.
Well, there ain't no answer to that one, but Cowboys.
I'm going to go with the Hawks.
Oh, wow. Have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow night. We'll talk to you throughout the day with sports updates here on Nooga Radio 92.7 FM, 95.3 FM HD4. Till tomorrow. So long.
The Tennessee Valley's news talk leader, Nooga Radio, digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM. 3, 2, 1. Chattanooga Nooga Radio.